They made us believe that aging is a slow descent into quiet resignation, that our spark dims with every passing year, and that intimacy becomes a faded memory, something that belonged to the past. We've heard the phrases so often they've become part of the script. That's just what happens when you get older. It's normal to feel tired all the time. You're not supposed to want those things anymore. And yet the truth, as I've witnessed with my own eyes, couldn't be more different. Growing older does not mean giving up on life passion or connection. It can mean awakening, rediscovery. It can be the beginning of something more vivid, more intentional and more intimate than anything before. For over 2 decades, I've worked closely with older adults, men and women in their 60s, 70s, even 80s, who came to me, tired, frustrated, and quietly grieving the loss of energy, confidence and intimacy they once knew. Many of them had given up hope, having been told there was nothing more to do but accept and adapt. But over time, something remarkable happened. I began to notice patterns. People who seemed to defy the aging process didn't just exercise or take supplements. Many of them made one small but consistent change. They included specific fruits in their daily routine. Not vitamins, not complex diets, just real fresh fruit. And that made all the difference. It may sound too simple, too ordinary, but these fruits are anything but ordinary. They are nature's quiet allies, rich in antioxidants, bioactive compounds, and subtle yet powerful nutrients that support blood flow, hormone balance, and nervous system health. They work not by forcing change, but by reminding the body how to function as it was always meant to. They don't overwrite age. They honor it and offer support so that you can feel fully alive within it. Let me start with one of the most underestimated but powerful examples, red grapes. Sweet, juicy, and often seen as just a snack, red grapes contain a compound called resveratrol. This natural antioxidant supports the relaxation and dilation of blood vessels, improving circulation throughout the entire body. And when blood flows more freely, oxygen, nutrients, and life reach the places that need them most: your brain, your muscles, your heart, and yes, your most intimate areas. In men, poor circulation is one of the leading causes of erectile dysfunction. It's not a lack of desire, it's a lack of blood flow. For many women, reduced pelvic circulation means dryness, discomfort, and disconnection. But when you restore that flow, something beautiful happens. Sensation returns, warmth returns, connection returns. It's not just a physical change, it's an emotional one. Because the truth is, feeling good in your body makes it easier to feel good with others. One feeds the other. I remember a gentleman named Martin. He was 73 when he came to see me. He had stopped being intimate with his wife of 50 years, not because he didn't love her, but because he felt ashamed of his body, embarrassed by what he saw as its failures. I recommended something incredibly simple. Eat 1 handful of red grapes every afternoon. That was it. 3 weeks later, he came back with a shy smile and tears in his eyes. "We danced last night," he told me. "Just danced. And I felt alive again." That's the power we're talking about, and red grapes are just the beginning. Let's talk now about cranberries. You may know them for their role in urinary health, but what most people don't realize is that cranberries have a profound effect on kidney function, inflammation, and even sexual energy. The kidneys are vital to your body's ability to maintain fluid balance, filter toxins, and regulate blood pressure. When your kidneys are underperforming, something that happens silently with age, your body becomes sluggish, your circulation suffers, and your intimate health takes a hit. But cranberries help protect and cleanse the urinary system, especially the delicate tissues of the bladder and urethra. For men, that means stronger, more reliable erections. For women, less irritation and more comfort. And beyond the physical effects, there's a sense of lightness that comes with internal cleansing, a kind of emotional exhale. When your body isn't weighed down by inflammation or toxins, your mind feels clearer and your desire begins to wake up again. One of my patients, a widow in her late 60s, told me she started drinking unsweetened cranberry juice every morning, simply out of curiosity. "I don't know what happened," she said, "but I started dreaming again. Not just at night, daydreams. Possibilities." That kind of renewal can't be prescribed. It comes from within, supported by the smallest of daily rituals. And here's what's most beautiful about it. These changes aren't dramatic or overwhelming. They're subtle, graceful, and deeply rooted. You don't suddenly become someone else. You remember who you've always been beneath the fatigue, the stress, the years of caretaking and surviving. You remember your capacity for joy, for pleasure, for connection. Next, we turn to the papaya, bright, tropical, and rich with vitality. If red grapes support circulation and cranberries protect the kidneys, papaya is the fruit of energy restoration. It contains enzymes that aid digestion, reduce inflammation, and, most importantly, support the production of testosterone in men and estrogen balance in women. Hormones, as you may know, are not just about reproduction. They affect mood, sleep, energy, focus, and the ability to feel emotionally open and physically connected. Many older men report a gradual loss of drive, not just sexual but mental and emotional as well. Papaya helps reverse this by gently encouraging the body to rebalance itself. One of my patients, a retired firefighter, began eating papaya every morning with a little lime juice. "It's like my mornings belong to me again," he told me. "I get up, I want to do things, I laugh more, my wife says I'm glowing." These are not rare cases. These are common results from a fruit that's been used in traditional medicine for centuries. And for women, papaya's impact is just as profound. It improves blood flow to the pelvic region, reduces discomfort, and increases natural lubrication. But more than that, it supports the adrenal glands, those tiny powerhouses that manage your response to stress. When your adrenals are nourished, you don't feel like you're constantly on edge. You can breathe deeper, you can let go. And in that letting go, intimacy becomes not only possible, but deeply healing. There's something almost poetic about how nature gives us exactly what we need, often in the simplest forms. And while papaya can awaken the body's energy, it also softens the heart. When your body starts to feel better, safer, more supported, you stop bracing for disappointment. You become open again, open to tenderness, open to connection, open to life. Now let's explore the final fruit in our journey, cherries. Soft, deep red and rich with flavor, cherries are more than just a sweet treat. They are intimacy boosters in disguise. Loaded with anthocyanins, cherries reduce inflammation in the arteries, promote better circulation, and increase nitric oxide production. 3 crucial factors for supporting sexual function and overall vitality. But cherries also contain natural melatonin, which improves sleep quality. And sleep, as we know, is a pillar of hormonal balance, emotional stability, and physical resilience. I once worked with a couple who had been married for 42 years. Their love was real, their companionship strong, but their physical connection had waned over time. The husband told me he often woke up feeling foggy and restless. His energy was low. His interest in intimacy was fading. They weren't angry or distant. They were just tired. I suggested they try something surprisingly simple, share a bowl of fresh cherries before bed. Within weeks, everything shifted. They started sleeping better. They woke up refreshed. They began to cuddle again. Not because cherries are magic, but because they gave their bodies what they were missing: deep rest, steady circulation, and hormonal support. This kind of transformation doesn't come in loud, dramatic gestures. It comes in whispers, in subtle improvements. In that moment when you look at your partner and realize you're feeling more connected than you have in years, not because anything major changed, but because something small did. The fruits you eat every day speak to your body. They send messages. They say you're safe, you're supported, you're allowed to feel again. It's hard to describe how powerful that is until you experience it. When you start sleeping better because of the natural melatonin in cherries, your stress levels drop. When stress drops, your cortisol levels balance. Your insulin sensitivity improves. Your sex hormones stabilize. Your blood pressure lowers. All of these internal shifts, quietly but powerfully, create the conditions where intimacy and energy return. And this isn't just about physical closeness. It's about emotional availability. When you feel well rested, your heart opens. You're more likely to reach for a hand, to share a laugh, to linger in a hug. And now that we've explored these 4 remarkable fruits, red grapes, cranberries, papaya, and cherries, you might be wondering how to incorporate them without turning your life upside down. The good news is you don't have to make a dramatic change. You only need to start, one fruit at a time, one intentional moment at a time. Maybe you begin with a small bowl of red grapes in the afternoon. Maybe you switch your juice to unsweetened cranberry. Perhaps you start your mornings with fresh papaya, or end your evenings with a handful of cherries. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to overhaul your entire diet. What matters is that you're sending your body a signal. 1. That says, I still care. I still believe in myself. I still want to feel good. And believe me, your body listens. In the first weeks, the changes might be subtle. You might notice that your hands and feet are warmer, that you sleep through the night without waking up, that your dreams are more vivid, that you wake up feeling a little more curious, a little more open. Then maybe your energy starts to shift. You find yourself humming while making coffee. You make eye contact more often. You laugh at something that wouldn't have amused you a month ago. These are the signs. These are the quiet ways. Your body is telling you, I'm still here. I still want to live fully. There's something deeply sacred about aging with intention, about refusing to settle for a narrative that says decline is the only option. You are not broken. You are not behind. You are becoming. You are gathering the wisdom, the resilience, and the sensitivity to experience life more deeply than ever before. And when your body is nourished, when your circulation is strong, when your hormones are balanced, and your sleep is steady, you don't just survive aging. You flourish in it. I've worked with people in their 70s and 80s who thought their time had passed, and then with one small change, a shift in food, a shift in mindset, they began to thrive again. They rediscovered desire. They opened up to joy. They reconnected with their spouses after years of quiet disconnection. They started walking together, cooking together, kissing more, laughing more, and none of it came from a miracle pill or a radical transformation. It came from consistent loving care, from fruits that fed not just their bodies but their spirits. You deserve that too. You deserve to feel alive, to feel warm, to feel connected to the people you love, and to the body you inhabit. Not because you're trying to be who you were at 20, but because you're honoring who you are now, strong, seasoned, open. So the next time you stand in front of your fridge or your grocery list, remember this: you are not just choosing food, you are choosing how you want to feel, how you want to live. And these 4 fruits can help you feel more alive, more grounded, more loving, not in some distant future, but now, today, with each bite, with each breath, with each brave decision to say, I'm not done yet. When you begin to feel that spark again, not from some external praise or artificial motivation, but from within, you start to realize that aging is not a diminishing of life, but a refinement of it. It's like heat that becomes light. It's not as loud, not as chaotic, but it shines deeper, steadier, more intentionally. The intimacy you feel at 60 or 70 isn't the same as it was at 30. It's more textured. It's more knowing. It's full of unspoken trust of bodies that have learned to speak the language of experience. And it is absolutely worth nurturing. I've seen men in their 80s begin to hold their partner's hand differently, more gently, more purposefully, after months of simply eating better, sleeping more peacefully, and feeling supported by their own bodies for the first time in years. I've witnessed women who had resigned themselves to disconnection suddenly begin to smile again when they felt wanted, touched, not in a rushed or transactional way, but in a way that said, you still move me. That kind of renewal isn't about sexuality alone. It's about presence. It's about the decision to engage with life again, to stop watching from the sidelines and step fully into the moment. And the most beautiful thing, it all starts with small signals. One bowl of fruit, one restful night, one moment of laughter you didn't expect. That's how life returns. It doesn't need fanfare. It needs openness. Think about everything your body has done for you. The decades of work, the long nights, the heartbreaks, the celebrations. Your heart has beat without fail day after day. Your lungs have breathed through joy and sorrow. Your skin has stretched to hold children, to hug friends, to carry burdens and blessings alike. You owe your body something now, not punishment for aging, but gratitude, nourishment, respect. And these fruits are one of the purest ways to offer that. This is not about anti-aging, it's about pro-living. It's not about erasing lines or chasing youth. It's about stepping into your power now, with softness and strength, with patience and fire. These fruits, grapes, cranberries, papaya, cherries, they're not cures. They're invitations. They don't promise you'll turn back time. But they remind you that you're not done yet. They say gently but firmly, there is more ahead. There is still more of you to live. And the science supports it. These fruits contain compounds that improve endothelial function, the lining of your blood vessels, reduce oxidative stress, increase nitric oxide, a key factor in arousal and vascular health, and regulate hormones naturally. They're not just feeding your hunger. They're feeding your circulation, your hormones, your brain chemistry, your emotional resilience. This is especially powerful for people who have started to internalize the idea that aging is a one-way street, that you decline, you slow, you settle. But what if instead we saw aging as a return to the body, a return to what matters, a return to connection to food, to rest, to other people, and most importantly to yourself. Every time you sit down with a bowl of grapes or a spoonful of papaya, you're saying to your body, I choose life. Every time you drink cranberry juice instead of sugary soda, you're saying, I choose clarity. Every time you savor cherries before bed, you're whispering, I deserve rest, I deserve intimacy, I deserve peace. And slowly, day by day, your body begins to believe you. What's beautiful is that this journey doesn't have to be done alone. When couples do it together, when they share the habit, the intention, the change, it creates a ripple effect. I've seen relationships transform simply because two people decided to nourish themselves side by side. They shop together, prepare, fruit together, sit at the table and talk while they eat. They create rituals out of what used to be routines, and that intimacy seeps into every part of life, not just the bedroom, but the glances across the kitchen, the hand on the small of the back, the stories shared after dinner. It becomes a shared language, one that says we are not done, we are still choosing each other. And if you're not in a relationship, this journey is still yours, this nourishment is still for you. It's never been about another person completing you. It's about you feeling complete within yourself, about waking up with the knowledge that you are alive in this moment, and that alone is enough reason to care for your body, to feed it well, to move with intention, to soften when you can and strengthen when you must. The older we get, the more we begin to understand what really matters. We don't want noise, we want connection. We want simplicity that leads to depth. We want experiences that are real, not impressive. We want conversations that go past the surface. And this journey of restoration, of intimacy, energy, and vitality is just that real, deep, meaningful. You're not too late, you're not too old. You are right on time. You are exactly where you need to be to begin again. And beginning doesn't require a full transformation. It requires one step, one decision, one fruit, one breath of belief in yourself. That's enough. You don't need a revolution to change your life. You need a rhythm, a daily gentle rhythm that reminds your body it is still loved, still needed, still capable. That rhythm can start with fruit. It can be a bowl of grapes after your afternoon walk, a spoonful of papaya after brushing your teeth, a handful of cherries while reading before bed, a splash of cranberry juice with breakfast. These moments might feel small at first, quiet and uneventful. But give them time. What begins as nutrition becomes something much more, a declaration that you are showing up for yourself. Your body will respond to that declaration, not overnight, not all at once, but faithfully. Like a seed you plant, water, and trust to grow, and just like a garden your body will begin to bloom. Maybe not with fireworks, but with warmth, steadiness, and the return of sensations you thought were long gone. That's the beauty of natural healing. It moves gently but deeply. In the lives of my patients I've seen this time and time again. One man, 71, who had stopped dating after the death of his spouse, started preparing a fruit bowl every morning as a way to care for himself. I used to cook for her, he told me. Now I cook for me. That act, simple and nourishing, opened him up to new connections. He began smiling at people in the park, saying yes to invitations, feeling worthy again, not because someone else told him so, but because he told himself. Another woman in her late 60s struggled with fatigue, shame, and a lack of desire. She had internalized the idea that her time had passed, that her beauty was gone, that her body had become an enemy. We worked slowly, starting with a simple plan: a fruit a day, a short walk, an extra hour of rest. 3 months later, she came into my office glowing. "I bought red lipstick," she said, "and I wore it." That may not sound like much, but for her it was a return, a reunion with a version of herself she thought had disappeared. That's what these daily habits are. They're not about food alone. They're about permission. Permission to take up space, to feel, to want, to heal. Let's take a moment to talk about healing. Not just physical healing, but emotional repair. When you've spent decades putting others first, raising children, holding jobs, carrying the emotional load of a household, it's easy to lose the thread of who you are, especially when your body starts to change, when energy dips and your reflection surprises you. The narrative says shrink, retreat, fade quietly, but your soul doesn't want to fade, it wants to deepen. And food, especially natural, whole, vibrant food, can be the bridge between body and soul. Because when you eat well, you feel safer in your body. When you feel safer, you open emotionally. And when you're open, you can connect again. First, with yourself, then with others. Intimacy, real intimacy, requires presence. It requires softness. And these cannot happen when you are surviving. They can only happen when you feel nourished. So what does that look like practically? It looks like keeping fruit where you can see it, on the kitchen table, in your bag, in your fridge, already washed. It means making space in your day, not just for food, but for moments. Moments to taste, to savor, to be still. It means inviting your partner, if you have one, to share in the ritual, to prepare fruit together, to eat slowly without screens or distractions. To use that moment to ask how the other is feeling. These tiny things add up. They become threads in the fabric of intimacy. And if you live alone, this practice is no less powerful. Your moments of nourishment are moments of affirmation. You are saying, "I matter. My joy matters. My body matters." That energy radiates. It changes how you walk into a room, how you speak, how you hold yourself. That change over time draws people to you. It invites connection, because the most attractive thing in the world is someone who feels alive. You don't need to be young to feel radiant. You need to be whole. And wholeness isn't about perfection. It's about listening. It's about showing up for yourself even when it's inconvenient, even when no one else sees it, even when it would be easier to fall back into numbness. Wholeness says, "I know you're tired, but keep going." It says, "Let's move slowly today, but let's still move." And yes, it says you can still feel joy in your skin. You can still wake up next to someone and feel your breath match theirs. You can still walk outside and feel the sun on your face and think, "I'm glad I'm here." You can still feel a flutter in your chest when a memory hits, or a song plays, or someone's hand finds yours unexpectedly. That's not just nostalgia, that's vitality, and it's yours. And what these fruits, these small acts of care, do is support that vitality. Not in some metaphorical sense, but biologically. They improve blood flow, they stabilize hormones, they reduce inflammation, they help you sleep, they regulate your nervous system, they give you the internal stability you need, so you can take emotional risks, so you can open your heart again without fear that your body will betray you. That's the connection we're rebuilding here, not just to your organs and tissues, but to your spirit. The world tells us to fear aging, to hide it, to fight it. But when we stop resisting and start listening, we realize that age brings a different kind of beauty. A beauty made of presence, intention, patience, resilience. The kind of beauty that doesn't need attention because it already commands respect. You are worthy of that kind of beauty. You always have been. Now is the time to claim it, not because the world gives you permission, but because you give it to yourself. You've come this far. You've read, you've reflected, and maybe, just maybe, you've begun to feel a quiet flicker inside of you. That flicker is not random. It is your inner voice awakening. The part of you that never stopped wanting, never stopped believing that life could still be full, still be rich, still be deeply connected, even after 60, 70 or beyond. Let this moment be the beginning. You do not need permission to feel good again. You do not need someone else to validate your desire to move, to love, to rest, to feel. What you need, what we all need, is to remember that the body is not a burden. It is a home, and just like any home, it needs maintenance, warmth, light, and care. It starts with what you eat, it grows through how you treat yourself, and it blossoms in the way you open to the people around you, not with desperation, but with quiet dignity, with the strength of someone who has lived and now chooses to live better. You've seen how something as simple as fruit, red grapes, cranberries, papaya, cherries, can create a foundation for this, not as a cure but as a rhythm, a pattern of care, a daily loving reminder that you're still here and your body still responds when you speak its language. When you give it what it needs, it gives you back more than you expect. Energy, clarity, intimacy, peace. We don't often talk about how nourishing the body heals the spirit, but it does. Because when your heart is pumping strong, your blood is flowing freely, your hormones are balanced, and your sleep is deep, you don't just feel better. You think better. You relate better. You trust more. You smile more. You remember what it means to feel at home in your own skin. And isn't that what we all long for? To feel at ease in ourselves. To stand in front of a mirror and see not just age but history, not just wrinkles but stories, not just grey hairs but wisdom. To look inward and think, this body carried me through a lifetime. It raised children, held lovers, fought battles, built homes, survived grief, laughed until it hurt. It has been bruised and healed and touched and held. It deserves kindness. So let that kindness begin today. Not with a radical change, not with guilt or pressure or perfection, but with one quiet act of love, one bowl of fruit, one long, slow breath, one decision to say, I'm ready to feel again. And if you forget tomorrow, start again the next day. This isn't about success. It's about rhythm, your pace, your season of reawakening. I hope you let yourself rest when you're tired and move when you feel inspired. I hope you let food be not just fuel but affection. I hope you let touch return, not just physical but emotional, spiritual. I hope you let yourself be seen, not just as someone older but as someone wiser, fuller, more radiant than ever. And if ever doubt creeps in, if you hear that old voice saying it's too late, you missed your chance, your body can't, come back to this truth: you are not too late. Your story is still being written. Your next chapter can be the most honest, the most vibrant, the most connected yet, because you're not starting over from scratch. You're starting from experience. So tomorrow, when you reach for those red grapes or sip that cranberry juice or cut that papaya or savor those cherries, know this: you are making a choice. A choice to live deliberately. A choice to care for the one body that has always been yours. A choice to believe in the possibility of vitality, not from youth but from presence, from wisdom, from love. And that, dear one, is more than enough.